Okay, today, Friday, March 31st, 2023, at 1:30 in the afternoon, I, Pat McKinley, am interviewing Alan Wernz at the Rocky Mountain Regional VA Medical Center in Aurora, Colorado, as part of the Remembering Our Veterans program. So, where were you born?
Brooklyn, New York,
And did you grow up there?
for 10 years.
10 years. So you were 10 years old when.
46 to 56.
Where did you go after that?
To Queens?
So not too far.
No.
Did you,
Rush hour, yeah.
were you there during high school?
Yes, in Queens.
And did you, what did you do between high school and going into the service?
I was in congressional auditor. The organization of General Accounting Office. And I was there from 74 to 2003.
Sounds like a very interesting.
It was a lot of travel.
And where'd they take you, overseas or what?
No, my first job was a mining inspection audit. And that's good from somebody from New York going to a mine.
Mine inspection, yeah. You went underground.
Yeah, and the first mine was in Colorado, in the mountains here, and it was used to be a gold mine. And the problem is what happened the day before in the hotel. With my razor, I slit my thumb open, and it was bleeding. Excuse me. And the reason why I say that, it was a wet shaft, and so I had a what do you call it, a board with a clip. I had
a clipboard. You had a clipboard?
Clipboard, and that got immediately wet. So there goes my questions.
So you had to ad lib. Yeah.
Right.
And so you were talking to miners there about the conditions that they were working in?
Right. They were all under 18.
Wow.
Miners.
Amazing. Amazing. So you, besides traveling within the United States,
I went everywhere.
Wow.
Any federal money involved, we could order it. And then I would go to the private sector to get their view of it was mine safety. Mine safety,
right, right. And so you went into coal mines or gold mines?
No coal mines. It was, I went to a salt mine. I went to a aluminum where they come out with the balls. That's easier to move. I went to an open pit. I went to a mine in New Mexico, and that mine was hot. I mean, it was mostly not, just was hot. Yeah.
So that might have been an open pit copper mine or something like that in New Mexico?
This was I don't think, well, I don't know what it was. I forgot.
Yeah. So when you finished this particular job, for what reasons did you decide, what motivated you to join the military?
Because I would be drafted.
Okay.
This would, because as you know, if you had to be full-time, otherwise you couldn't get a master, and well, you couldn't do it in Johnson. So I went down to the Air Force recruiter, who offered me everything, house, whatever. But when I signed, he said, "Get out of here."
So you chose the Air Force, and where did you enlist? In New York?
1969.
All right. What was your first duty station?
First duty station after training was Auckland Air Force Base, the hospital.
Hospital. So after you were your initial assignment there, what other kind of job assignments and responsibilities did you have?
Well, I had training in Shepherd Air Force Base. And then at the end of the course, they have a list of where the guys are going to go. And mine was Lakeland. It was people going overseas and everything. And the sergeant said, you got a perfect job because you're not going to do any details. Because you got to, I got trainees and all that. They got basic training.
Great. Wow. And so you were there for how many years?
At Lakeland,
Hmm.
I was there for, went from Lakeland to the Air Force Academy, and that was in March. So I was there from 69, March 69. I don't know. Well, anyhow, I was like on Air Force Base, and the hospital is its own command. So personnel, and you may not believe it, but I would tell jokes and everything. The guys wanted to get rid of me. So one day, the guy works in with assignments. He said, Alan, you want to go to the Air Force Academy? I said, no, I have my degree. He says, no, to work. I said, what's the option? He said, Vietnam. And I said, where is this academy?
So you'd already had your college degree.
Yeah, and at the academy, my director of administration let me take classes, and I got my master's. Not on the academy, UNC.
Oh, very nice.
You would meet Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and it was 40 quarter hours.
Very nice arrangement. So you spent some nice time at the Air Force Academy.
30 months.
Now that would be at that time. It was it was a new academy down in Colorado Springs.
Well, it was new in 59. So.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Because here they had it before that, they had a lottery.
Right.
And Eisenhower, he wanted a modern buildings, all glass. And that was known for the Cave of the Winds by the Indians, excuse me, Native Americans.
Native Americans.
And the windows would pop out. But he's the president.
Right. Yeah.
And his wife is from Denver. Well, she spent some time here.
Yeah, he did too, didn't he? Up in Fraser.
Yes, when he had the heart attack.
Did you finish your career there at the Air Force Academy, or did you go
Yes.
on?
I was there for 30 months. And I left in July 1973.
Do you have a vivid memory or a fond memory of your service that you would think of periodically that you would like to share?
I tell you, there's an old saying, the outs are in and the ins are, the outs are in and the ins are out. For say a 4-star general, he always takes his staff with him. So there was it was not a change when I was there. And and Major for the direct administration, I couldn't do anything wrong with him. So I was in. He said, Alan, could you do me a favor? I said, yes. He says, of all the parking spaces, a deer did his duty in a superintendent spot. And he said, I said, no problem. I grabbed the broom and a thing, and it was done in 4 minutes. And part of it, he made everything easy for me. And he was a good guy.
Yeah, sounds like it. Any particular humorous or unusual events during your service?
Yes. When I was at the hospital in Lakeland, personnel has a separate building. You go there for lunch. And this is the truth. This gurney's gone down and there's a tail hanging out. And I said to the corpsman, you know, you have a tail sticking out, and they went back and they tucked it in. Now, what I add to that is, and everything went fine for the Navy guy. The only problem is he had this inkling for bananas, and the monkey was drunk. That I ate.
Very good. Yeah, it's very unusual. So how about a particular best part or experience that you might have had during this time period? Is there anything that sticks out as being what you'd classify as the best part?
Well, the best part was the Air Force Academy. You have a lot of smart cadets, and anybody working there as an officer or a sergeant or enlisted, not enlisted,
Corman.
anybody worked there who was an officer, whatever director they were in, it would help. It's a sport for the cadets.
Well,
and I would like to go to the library because I liked to go when I was a civilian, and there was no computers. I don't know how it did work. So, and then one time, and oh yeah, in the admin, I was in charge of all the manuals to update them. The amendments.
right.
And I would see one about this thick on computers. I threw it away. So one time there was 2 seats facing us, and the major, well, it happened is captain came in, and he was, what's the word? He was, oh, he thought he was big shot. He's only captain, and he's looking for a manual or something. And he said, and I said to him, see, I can get away with this. I said, that almost bit you in the ass. My director loved that. Another time he said, you know how you engrave the names and everything? He says, Alan, we have a problem. Never called me sergeant. He says, Alan, can you put up one of those plaques that says, please close the door when you leave? Well, I made one that said, close the effing door. I showed it to him. He laughed and he says, I really can't do that. I said, I know, this is a joke. And he could take a joke. And then I was a babysitter for his kids when he went to football games. So Air Force, see, the ins are out, the outs are in. So I was in. And I was in charge of supplies too. So these Air Force glasses and the jackets, everybody wanted one. Well, I made some deals, you know, and they got glasses, and they helped me out too, some stuff.
That's make friends that way.
Right.
You know, I have a daughter that went through the academy, and I was curious as to what your feelings about the students might have been. Did you have
the cadets?
Yes, sir.
No problem whatsoever. No problem. The ones I met had, you know, they were, well, they're smart, all of them. And there was no problems. And one day, oh, so when they graduate, the first enlisted man they see, they salute you. So I would stand down at the bottom of the stairs and collect $1, you know, from everybody. That's a joke. And then when they get graduated, they had stereos and all this equipment. And then we would get them, you know, maybe for $5 or something.
Oh, they threw their uniforms in the trash can and took off, huh?
I don't think they threw the hat away. I know about the uniforms.
They weren't official uniforms for the
Right.
Air Force, so they couldn't really wear them.
Well, actually, they were official for cadets.
Yeah. This is towards the end, your end of the service, were there any medals or awards or citations that you get from these?
I got one on the shooting range. Everybody gets that. and I had one for Vietnam.
Serving during them.
You see, for these generals, whatever, they got, you know, a whole shirt full of medals.
After the service, after your service, what occupation did you have that you was there an inner
To
place?
July 73 to August 1974, I did nothing. And so back in New York, and I couldn't take the people, the beach, subways, and what broke the camel's back, straw. I was getting my car washed, go for more money, and I hear, you don't have to put any more money in, your car's clean enough. So I didn't look at him. I said, I know Colorado, he doesn't, I'm gone. Simple as that.
So the introduction to Colorado through your service made an impact on your life.
Many enlisted men and officers stay in Colorado after the service.
Mm.
And I got there at March 23rd, 4 minutes and 20 seconds at night. And the next morning, well, I came in the wrong side of the guards, by the house, whatever it is. And I was driving, and they said, there's a flag, a cop car flagging you down. He said, before you kill yourself, we're going to take you to the barracks. So I got up the next morning. Wow, puffy white clouds and deep, deep blue sky.
Mm.
And I was hooked before 24 hours was up.
Yeah, it's a beautiful state. So other than falling in love with Colorado, was there anything else your military experience had an effect on your life in the future?
Well, I always been at the right time. When I got the assignment for Academy, the Chief Master Sergeant, he called me over. He says, what are you going to do? I said, oh, I think they want to put me in a warehouse. And he says, the warehouse, he got on the phone to Randolph Air Force Base, and he said to the guy, this is a good guy, could you give something better? And that was the director of it. So, and the event and the Air Force Academy was very important. You don't know where you're going to go and where the future goes. And as Yogi Berra said, if you have a problem, it come to the fork in the road, take them.
So after you left the service, how did you proceed with, you were gone, you said you didn't do anything for a while. You eventually got a job.
I saw an announcement for this job of GAO, and I put it, I applied for it. And I started in GAO in 74. And then I worked there for 34 years.
You're all here in Colorado, or they move you around?
Yeah, it was Denver region.
Great. And what did you do for the GAO?
I was a management auditor, and we worked for Congress. And if there was something they wanted investigated, they would tell our people in Washington, and then we would form a work plan and do the audit. Very interesting.
So that's where you got your interviewing experience. Very good. Right.
And that lasted to 2003.
Do you have any special experience that you want to share with your family about that those kind of interviews and investigations that you did? Was there something?
I'm the family.
You're the
I
family.
have a sister in Connecticut.
Okay. You got a sister. Very good.
I could tell you a lot of stories, what happened in the academy, what happened in Lackland, because I knew what I could say. So every September, the opening day football game, I forget what they call it, the official name, every commanding general in the Air Force came to the Air Force Academy for a conference. It so happens that was same time that football game was. I just can't understand that. So the major said to me, Alan, can you go in the elevator, dress blues, and it's 3 floors. Can you make sure the elevator doesn't stop at the 2nd floor to inconvenience them? I said, sure. And I could get away with this. They would get in the elevator by rank, the chief of staff, Air Force, and then the 1-star. In fact, the 1-star could work the elevator. What's a 1-star? So I looked at him. I said, I have never seen so many stars since I was in the planetary. No one laughed. The chief of staff did, and everybody laughed in rank. Oh yeah, that's good.
Welcome.
I'm not shy, as you see.
Yeah. Is there anything that you'd wish more people knew about veterans and military service? You got anything to share in that sense?
Well, if you're a civilian, they don't know. They don't know anything about the academy at my Air Force time. And so when of course I get medical treatment over here, and then I heard about the volunteer program, and I work in a pharmacy, and I talk to all the vets that go in there. Where were you born? Like you asked me. And I love that. I love it. And then I'm a volunteer at the temple. I love meeting people. And they, in the bulletin, I should have bring it with me. I was only there for 1 year. The other temple was 27. And it was a kudo for me of what I do. And the assistant rabbi, she said, she interviewed me. She said, she called me the mitzvah man, which is when you do good for people. And so I made a copy of that, and I greet people at the front door. And I say, did you see my write-up? They said, no. Well, here's a copy. No. I'm not. Yeah, I'm very modest.
And humorous.
That's and then good. What was the question? Anything? Oh, about people?
Yeah. It was about telling people about being a volunteer and service in the military. And I know that your reputation as a volunteer here at the hospital and in outside, serving other people is a very strong characteristic of yours. I read a little bit of your bio, and if you'd share that with us, it'd be wonderful.
Well, it brings me to tears that they know that. And one time, Eric wanted me to go upstairs to the inpatient and stop by every room, and everyone left laughing. And I even two Silver Star people came in, and I said to them immediately, and civilian would know this, whatever you want, let me know. Because I know about Silver Star.
And everybody enjoys that kind of attention and care and love, actually, is what it is. It comes down to.
And you get 2 tickets when you go to the pharmacy, one in the beginning and one that leads to the end. And I would say to people, I said, we have a new system. They said, what is that? You need a ticket to go home. And they love that.
Have you been to Israel?
3 times.
3 times.
Right.
That's quite an experience over there.
Right, but it's safer than Chicago.
I think you're right. It's
Now, they want to have a trip in December, and it's used to be, the last one was like $7,000. And went with my cousin, and Israel wants people to come again, tourists, and so it's only 3,200. That's incentive. And so you're going to go to Israel? I said, yeah, we're going to get the tour. We'll yet see this terrorist, you see this bond, that where that bond went. No. But no, if it keeps up like it is now, well, I'm not going anyhow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. I went back in about 10 years ago, my wife and I went, and it was one of the best experiences that we ever had in visiting Jerusalem and Sea of Galilee and Tel Aviv, and it was just an amazing experience for us.
Now, I don't think you were Jewish.
No, Christian.
Right. They have tours for people or to go to Easter and all that. And it's to see the church where Jesus may have been buried. And that's okay.
Well, it's a small part of the Jewish world over there.
Right.
And so we took in all of the
Sure.
history because it's just it's part of our life.
And every Easter you see on TV, the big crowd and the Pope, you see the Pope.
Right. So it's part of our history too. It's
I know.
Very important to us as well. So,
well, what you want to do, religion, is fine. If this is America, well, I don't know if anymore it's America, but you do your thing and we do our thing.
Right. But we respect very much.
Of course.
Because
we share the Old Testament.
Yes, we do. Exactly. Is there anything else here that I haven't given you the opportunity to share?
Well, I want to talk about my dad, who was in World War II. Infantry. He was shot. He was D-Day +3, and he was shot. And what they call the trees that shade, not protected from. Well, the problem was Germans would hide behind them, and they didn't know. And my dad was German, and the old joke in the family was, maybe one of your cousins shot you.
Yeah, it's possible.
And I could tell you one thing, I have more respect. I think most of our patients are veterans of Vietnam. I got more respect for them because they had difficult duty, infantry, and a mission, and I say, only for when I see veteran from Vietnam, I say thank you for your service in Vietnam. I can't say to everybody I want to get a sore throat.
Indeed.
I think that's about it.
Okay.
But I really like volunteering here. Now I take a train from Southmore to Colfax, and the problem is I don't like the 225 Raceway. So then this train now is not going to go there for 6 months. So I'm driving again. See, I could stay here to 4:30 and don't worry about rush hour, And so now I'm I do have some putting down my volunteer work.
Well, we greatly appreciate what you've done for us here.
Thank
And
you.
we're also grateful for your service and that you volunteered to help me in the interviews. I much appreciate that.
Well, thank you. The strange thing is that I feel guilty that I didn't go to Vietnam. And somebody said, Alan, if they, well, actually they sent me, but I had a little help. And if the Air Force wants me to work at the academy, who am I to say no?
No, exactly.
I didn't know what the academy was. I didn't know nothing about it. And of course, the Army and the Navy, they all have, and they're all the same. And I have a lot of respect for the students or for the cadets. I could talk all day, but you better cut it off.
Well, we're grateful for that. And I think it's been a great interview, which we much appreciate, Alan. Thank you very much,
All right.
sir.
Can I have my ring back? No.
You weren't supposed to notice that.
Are we on the air still?